We are seeing ongoing cyber attacks across the country.
Get your bunkers and stay away from those Teslas, because we may be living in the opening act of Netflix's Leave the World Behind. The Netflix apocalyptic thriller began trending on Thursday after a nationwide power outage felt eerily similar to the film. The outage struck the United States on Thursday morning and impacted more than 70,000 customers. The issue apparently started with AT&T's network, but began affecting customers who use Verizon and T-Mobile as well, and has also impacted emergency services such as 911. The reason for the outage has not yet been revealed. The incident left many talking about Netflix's recent apocalyptic disaster movie Leave the World Behind, starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, and Ethan Hawke, which opens with all communications going down after satellites get disabled in an apparent cyber attack. Many online are either mock panicking or actual panicking, or a combination of both, seeing as the film ends with a lot of doom and gloom. The film ran rampant with conspiracy theories after it dropped on the streamer in November, when it was noted that Leave the World Behind counted Barack Obama as one of its producers, though the story was based on a novel and not pitched by the former president as a prophetic warning. One user wrote, "Leave the world behind. It's like he had a crystal ball." Another wrote, "Well played, Netflix. If you wanted us to watch Leave the World Behind, then all you had to do was say that." But not everyone is worried. One user wrote, "It does not take 5 minutes to see that a major solar flare could be affecting satellite networks." Meanwhile, the MAGA portion of Twitter is referring to Leave the World Behind as gospel and thinking that Russia or China are testing for an attack. For more updates to this story, head to thr.com. And for the latest entertainment news and updates, keep watching the Hollywood Reporter News.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 17. And it reads, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me." And as we continue to move forward towards the end of Esau's rulership and the return of our Lord and Savior, Yahawashi, these how do I say it? These events, these prophecies will be continue to become clearer and clearer, as it says in the scripture. Before I get started with the lesson, Habakkuk 2. Salakia. Habakkuk 2, verse 1. Starting at 1, "I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So as we continue to get closer and closer to the end, the vision is speaking louder and louder, becoming clearer and clearer. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning. Fight this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity to you all. I want to say shalom. And we pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. So as you brothers and sisters seen in the opening clip, from the movie Leave the World Behind, they already showed different things that they're planning out, in my opinion, and I believe through the spirit that one of them is that they have already been testing these communication blackouts and cyber or blackouts in general, rolling blackouts as they call it. They've already been slowly testing it through different communication networks in different cities and what have you, to get basically check the climate of the people, to try to to get what the people will, how they will react, so they will know how to move forward. And I believe through the spirit that one of the scapegoats, so to speak, that they're going to use is these so-called solar storms or solar flares. So I came across this article. Actually, I was listening to Patrick Humphrey, this prepper guy. He actually brought it out. He was the first I heard about it from, and then I just looked up a couple articles. And so tonight, there's supposed to be a severe solar storm could trigger northern lights as far south as Alabama on Friday night. So, today's Friday, May 10th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, as coined by the beloved Apostle Tahar. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. So it says, NOAA upped the geomagnetic storm watch from moderate to severe on Friday through Sunday. So they're saying that it could hit Friday night and last until Sunday, possibly. This is the first severe watch in 19 years that could grace the northern tier skies with auroras, but also trigger, and this is the point, GPS problems, hamper satellite communications, and blackout high-frequency radio. So in that movie, Leave the World Behind, one of the first things that went was communications, and when somebody is how do I say it? When one group is attacking another group, or there's a war on another country, one of the major things that they want to disrupt is communications. Communications is very important. How people are able to communicate with each other, because then you can trap, you can ensnare, you can push people in different directions, because they don't know what's going on, because they can't communicate with different, their other, colleagues, so to speak, So let me read just a little bit of this. It says, Aurora viewers will want to keep their eyes on the sky this weekend as solar flares from the sun are hurling towards Earth. NOAA upgraded geomagnetic solar storm watch from a level 3, which is moderate, to a level 4, which is severe, as several solar flares have combined. Have combined. That could grace the northern tier skies with brilliant auroras, but also trigger GPS problems, hamper satellite communications, and cause high-frequency radio blackouts. Says this is the first severe geomagnetic storm watch issued since January 2005. It talks about spotlights on the sun. It says solar superstorm could wipe out the internet for weeks or months, scientist says. NOAA warns of a wide area blackout of high-frequency radio communications for hours. The geomagnetic storm could also cause widespread voltage irregularities in power systems, which trigger false alarms or security devices, cause drag on low Earth orbit satellites, preventing them from orienting, and cause range errors and a loss of lock for GPS systems. So I mean, this is going to, and it's saying it's going all the way down to about, I think he said, Alabama. So basically the whole country, damn near, will be affected by this, right? Says, so let's get a scripture real quick. Let me see, Salaki. Let me grab it. Second Ezra 6:22. Real quick. And it reads, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So suddenly shall society, that is together, right, sown, shall suddenly appear unsown, which is chaos, right? Because as this video I have queued up, society is, really the whole, mainly the Western world, the Edomite societies, Babylon, Canada, European nations, right? But really the whole world, you know, China, Russia, are heavily dependent on electricity to do, their day-to-day lives, you know. So it says, suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. So an event like that can really cause the society to really go into a spiral very quickly. And we can't forget all the different migrants that are coming into Babylon from all these different countries on top of that, who may have, marching orders, who don't care about Babylon, don't care about its citizens, and that, will really go crazy if and when this these different events take place. Because as the scriptures say, let's grab that real quick. I'll grab it in Daniel, actually. Daniel 12. Where is it at? There we go. Daniel 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael, the time of Jacob's trouble, right? And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be written in the book, right? So the only ones that will be delivered are the elect of the nation of Israel out of this time of Jacob's trouble, man. And it's going to be a time of trouble such as never been since there was a nation, So it's going to be very, very terrible out here. So I got this video from Practical Engineering, right? And this is all for educational purposes only, fair use. And it says, how long would society last during a total grid collapse? So I'm going to play a couple clips of this. So without further ado, here we go.
You're trying to make a personal call and you aren't enrolled in the telecommunications service priority program, you're not getting through. Just then, an emergency alert appears on your screen. It says that there's a power grid failure and to prepare for an extended outage. The reality of the situation is just starting to set in. Since most people have a cell phone, wireless emergency alerts have become an important addition to the emergency alert system that connects various levels of government to TV, radio, satellite, and telephone companies to disseminate public warnings and alerts. During a...
Right. Now, we can't forget, brothers and sisters, that a year ago, let's get that, there was an article or articles that came out that said U.S. senators were issued satellite phones for emergency communication. This was May 22nd, 2023. Almost exactly a year ago. So as the scriptures say, 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We're not ignorant of the schemes, tactics, traps, and snares that these devils are putting forth, because we're watching these devils, man. So we got to continue to watch as well as pray, So something major appears to have been in the works for a long time, and we may be witnessing it, come in full effect tonight. We just have to watch as well as pray. But that's why it's so important to seek Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi where he may be found, because a lot of brothers been going into famine of the word, persecution coming up. These devils are coming up, making all these unrighteous decrees, coming up against free speech, saying that anybody that speaks out against the small hatters, as this devil Trump has said a couple years ago, shall be put to death. They're coming up against the Bible, So ultimately, they're coming up against Yahawah Yahawashi, and they're coming against the servants of Yahawah Yahawashi, man. So the time of mercy, the time of grace is slowly, soon coming to an end, man. The as in times of Noah, and when Noah was out there prophesying, telling those wicked people out there to stop doing their wicked ways, right? And basically seek the Lord. Once that time was up and he finished building the ark, and he and it, he, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives went into that ark, and the Lord sealed that door. That was it. And we're coming to that time right now where the elect are being sealed, and everybody that else that isn't in that ark, so to speak, that doesn't have the Yahawah, that spiritual mark, which means exemption from judgment, they're going to be destroyed. Everybody else that doesn't have the Yahawah. And it's going to be a terrible way to go out, man. Let's get that. All right.
In a blackout, sharing information isn't just for likes on social media. It's how we keep people safe, connect them with resources, and maintain social order. Two-way communications like cell phones and the internet might not last long during a grid outage, so one-way networks like radio and television broadcasts are essential to keep people informed. These facilities are often equipped with more backup fuel reserves and even emergency provisions for the staff so that they can continue to operate during a blackout for weeks if necessary.
Right. Now, and one of the other things that has been going on is also these different, I forget what state it is at, but it talked about the police not being available. You can't call 911, well, you can call, but you're not going to get a emergency response from the police from like 11 to like 4 in the morning, from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. So there's also massive police, quitting in droves, so it's going to be a purge-like situation here in Babylon in the very near future, man. And most of the people here in Babylon are not prepared for it. And that's why they're going to be caught unawares, man, because they're not paying attention. They're too busy worrying about, the Kendrick Lamar, fucking Drake beef. They're too busy worried about Met Gala, stupid ass fucking celebrity bullshit. Too busy worried about, Tyson and Mike Tyson and that. What's this nigga's name, man? Jake Paul, fight and all. It's just foolishness, man. They, folly is set in great dignity, man. So they're too busy worried about folly, and that's why they're gonna get caught unawares, man. So continuing on.
Jump ahead a couple of days. Your circumstances start to dictate your experiences heavily. Even an outage of this length can completely upend your life if you, for example, depend on medication that must be refrigerated, or electrically powered medical equipment like a ventilator or dialysis machine. But for many, a blackout on the order of a day or two is still kind of fun, a diversion from the humdrum of everyday life. Maybe you've scrounged together a few meals from what's remaining in your pantry, enjoyed some candlelit conversations with neighbors, seen more stars in the night sky than you ever have in your life.
Right, so as he's saying, 2 days, could really be detrimental to people that, like, for example, people that have to have insulin for their diabetes. That medication has to be refrigerated. So, that would already be detrimental to people like that. But, the people that, younger, generation or what have you, and, different Edomites and shit that always look for an excuse to go outside anyway, that first couple of days wouldn't affect them that much. But as he continues to say, after 2 days, after 48 hours, that's when it really gets critical, because the system itself isn't designed, to last more than a couple days, so which is going to spell disaster, because as he mentioned in this video, everything is interconnected. That's why they call it a grid. So when the grid goes down, everything that's attached to the grid goes down. No matter how they try to say it happened, whether they say it was a cyber attack, whether they say it was a solar flare, whatever they say, we know that these devils are all about ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. And we can't forget that all of these banks, have been, central banks are talking about going to digital currency, and the, the regular banks. There's a whole attack against physical cash. So this could very well be the catalyst that is needed in order to transition, right, out with the old and with the new, transition into this new system that they're putting forth. So, we just have to watch as well as pray, and we'll see,
But after those first 48 hours, things are starting to get more serious. You ponder how long you can stay in your home before needing to go out for supplies as you head into the kitchen to get a glass of water. You open the tap and nothing comes out. A public water supply is another utility highly dependent on a functioning electrical grid.
Look at that. Off rip. Water. Your refrigerator isn't working. Your water isn't working, which also means your what do you call it? Your toilet isn't working. So it becomes a hygiene problem. You won't be able to take a shower. You won't be able to use the bathroom, and you won't be able to drink water, which means also you won't, if you don't have water, you won't be able to do things like boil rice and noodles and for food, because most people have some form of electric. You either have gas or electric, stove. If you have an electric stove, then you won't be able to cook anything, which also goes back into what these devils were doing, right? Because let's get that real quick. Here we go. Well, this is one from last year. You've heard of New York's gas stove ban. New legislation wants to take things even further, So there were these talks of banning gas stoves last year as well. So if everybody would, as well as banning gas-powered cars, right? So if everything's on the grid, then everything could be turned off, right? Including the way you buy and sell. So if there's no cash, then you can't function in society if there's no electricity, period. The only thing would be the bartering system, But once that's done away with, so we are very much witnessing, the wicked implement their wicked devices and push towards their NWO, man. So let me get a little bit more of this video.
Pumping, cleaning, and disinfecting water to provide a safe source to everyone within a city is a power-intensive ordeal. Water's heavy, after all, and just moving it from one place to another takes a tremendous amount of energy. Most cities use a combination of backup generators and elevated storage to account for potential emergencies. Those elevated tanks, whether they're water towers or just ground-level basins built on hillsides, act kind of like batteries to make sure the water distribution system stays pressurized even if pumps lose power. But those elevated supplies don't last forever. Every state has its own rules about how much is required. In Texas, large cities must have at least 200 gallons or 750 liters of water stored for every connection to the system. And
as you see, it doesn't take long for the society to break down. In this one he talks about with the waste, if it can't be, the electricity isn't around, then they can't be pumped to where it's supposed to be pumped, so that the backup will basically be to pump it right into different waterways and what have you, which is going to further pollute the water around that people might go to get drinking water, because they can't get it out of their sink anymore, right? So it's going to be let's get that right quick. It's going to be destruction, hell on every side.
Only the most prioritized facilities like hospitals and radio stations, plus those with solar or wind charging systems, still have a functioning backup power supply. Everything else is just dead. And now you truly get a sense of how complex and interconnected our systems of infrastructure are, because there's almost nothing that can frustrate the process of restoring power than a lack of power itself.
Right. So and these elites know that. So they know that attacking the system will put everybody into chaos, man. And when you talk about the internet, communications, electricity, the grid as a whole going out, look how people panicked when a social media site goes out for an hour. Everybody's panicking. Now, imagine it goes out for more than an hour. And imagine the whole internet goes out for an hour. So now they can't tweet about it because, this one social media outlet isn't working, so they can still voice their opinion on another one. What happens when they all go down? What happens when the internet as a whole goes down? Because when the internet as a whole goes down, that already means if there's no form of communication electronically, right? Let's just say the electricity is still on, but there's no communication electronically. That means that there's already no buying and selling unless they have cash. And most people have already been socially trained, for lack of a better word, to only use electronic payments. Socially conditioned to only use electronic payments. So most people aren't walking around with cash, so they will not be able to buy and sell already. If their tank is on E, they won't be able to buy or sell with their card or whatever, or their phone or Apple Pay or Google Pay, what have you, PayPal. They won't be able to Venmo. They won't be able to make any type of transaction, so they won't be able to get any gas, won't be able to get any food. Everything is affected just with one thing, So, this is indeed something to watch for. We're gonna depend on Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, of course. But it wouldn't hurt for you brothers and sisters to just, go out, maybe put some extra gas in your tank tonight, go grab some water, maybe some extra canned goods or what have you, because, we don't, something major seems like it's about to happen, but Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi are going to take care of their elect, So, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to blow the trumpet, give warning to the Israelites out there that, these devils are coming down with great wrath, because they know that they have but a short time. Continue to watch as well as pray. Continue to seek Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi while they may be found, because the doors of mercy are indeed closing right before our very eyes, man. So I hope and pray this lesson was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi once again for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. I give double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me his truth. Salutations, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. In salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I'm going to say shalom. I'm going to say abba ball and kwam yasharala. Shalom. To the next one.